Guys, it's Tom Bucks here from MST.TV bringing you guys a new card discussion. This is another Maximum Crisis card that is pretty good, pretty generic card. The next best spell trap removal in the game. We have a continuous trap card for once, Neverending Nightmare. So we got Rise Bell and Hypno Sister. It seems like Rise Bell's having some nightmares. Pendulum's gonna be blown up to bits. This is the card that's gonna do it. So let's go into the card text. So the card text states, you can pay 1,000 life points and target one face-up spell trap card on the field and semicolon destroy it. You can only activate this effect of Neverending Nightmare once per chain. Very different. Not once per turn, once per chain. So you can basically blow up any face-up card as much as you'd like. Well, once per chain anyway. This card is amazing for what it can do. For once, we have an infinite card. This is almost like Royal Oppression. Reminds me of Royal Oppression, actually. Because Royal Oppression, well, I don't think that card was once per chain, but that card basically gave you infinite special summon monster negation. This one is now face-up spell trap removal constantly. So let's go over some of the pros and cons. So pros, if you're playing Pendulums, you're gonna hate this card so much because your scales are not going to live. Metal Foe players definitely not gonna like this. Can't establish your scales. And not being able to establish your scales is going to hurt a lot. And with links coming up, I don't know if that's going to affect you guys too much because you do kind of lose a slot if you're playing Pendulums. But Pendulums definitely don't like this because Metaphors, of course, like all continuous spells and traps, they need to remain face up on the field to fully resolve. So if they target a card to pop a card with like any of the Metaphors, you pop the card or pop the ones that's activating, well, they're not going to get their effect off. So we got that. So continuous spells like Tenki, Barrage, Zodiac Barrage, that's a huge card. You got Call of the Haunted that you can hit. You have field spells, Union Hangers, even the upcoming, what was it? Magical Meltdown. Yeah, that's not gonna go through either. Like, this is how you kind of identify some of the good cards. And I would make another video about how to identify really good generic cards. Like Lost Wind is a really good card from the previous set here. We also have this card here coming for Maximum Crisis because it is a very generic card. It has no specific requirements. It's very, very broad and blankets a lot of other things. If a card can affect a very basic mechanic in the game, it is usually one of those cards you probably want to see in your side deck and probably hold on for a side deck for the occasion that it becomes good. This is one of those cards. Now, in terms of the bad part about this card, first of all, it is a trap, so it is not very fast. You might not want this going second because if you want spell trap removal, go for the quick play spells. You gotta get rid of those anti-spell fragrances. Because it is a continuous card, it cannot resolve if it is blown up. So MST will be able to prevent the resolution of this card. Get it? I didn't say it negates the card, it prevents the resolution. Face up continuous spells and traps must remain face up to fully resolve their effect. If you say MST negates, I will punch you. I will punch you. So it does not, MST does not negate this card, but does prevent the resolution of this card. So hopefully that does not confuse new players coming into the game. Okay, that's out of the way. MST does not negate. I'll get you. Now, this 1,000 life point cost is actually quite heavy. Twice the amount of Twin Twister, same as Cosmic Cyclone. And this card does destroy the card, so might not be as effective against certain spells and traps where they do have a contingency plan that happens in the graveyard. This card is still, because it is continuous and has a life point cost, you can accidentally burn yourself if your opponent baits you into popping one of their face-up spells and traps, only for them to chain MST or any of the spell trap removal. So you take 1,000 life points and you lose your effect. So it comes with an equal cost. You know, there's great risk and great reward for this card. If you are able to keep it on the field, you'll be able to pop multiple cards, and you're trading life points for a card advantage at that point. However, you do run the risk of it failing, which is the balancing factor of this card. If it did not have the failing factor, where it's like, oh man, I can just constantly spam this card, it doesn't matter if it stays face up, well, then it'll be a broken card, obviously. Then that'll be poorly designed. I like the risk factor of this card to balance it. However, it is the con of the card where it does make the card a little less effective. Now, there are some awkward interactions with this card too. Say you have a copy on the field and your opponent has a copy on the field. now you have to actually play a bit smarter, because you can try to bait your opponent into popping yours, but the person that usually activates theirs first will usually lose in this chain interaction where you're gonna be burning 1,000 life points for no apparent reason. I don't think you can actually mitigate the cost of this card. You cannot use Ariadne to negate the cost because it's not a counter trap after all. So this card, you'll be paying life points regardless. And Pendulum decks obviously hate this card, but let me know what you guys think about this card. Seriously, this card, you know, I like the artwork and everything. We got Rise Bell and we got Hypno Sister, you know, with a Dream Catcher. Would you play this over Anti-Spell Fragments? You know, Anti-Spell Fragments does hinder your own spells as well, whereas this card, well, prevents the Pendulum players. If you're only stopping Pendulum players from playing, would this be enough? Would you stop the Field Spell players from playing as well? Is this 1,000 life points actually worth it? Which decks do you think will actually abuse this the most? Would you actually want to pop your own spells and traps? Yeah, would you want to pop your own spells and traps? So let me know down in the comment section below how you would use this card. Would you use this over Anti-Spell? Do you think it's going to be a secret rare? Because honestly, this card is very generic. Most generic cards that have this much utility kind of usually gets a rarity bump. And in OCG, it is a super rare / secret rare. So there is a high chance of this being a rarity bump card as well. I would love to hear all your thoughts about this, because it is the next big spell trap removal. And will this actually replace some of our existing ones? And you think this will be good against True Dracos as well, that is coming up as well. They do have continuous spells and field spells, so this card could be the next big thing, and you need you just need a lot of destructions at this point. Alrighty then, until next time. Hey guys, thanks for watching. And if you guys want to see more stuff from MST.TV, drop a like and hit the left button over here to subscribe. Or if you want to check out another video from us in the past, click here on the right. And as always, don't forget to hold on to your MST.TV.